morning, students. How are you all? I hope you all are doing well and staying at your home. Well, students, in our last class, we discussed about the various phases of evolution of money. So, we came to know about three important types of money, the primitive forms of money. One is commodity money, the second one is cattle money, and the third one is metallic money. So commodity money means any commodity which had a common utility or which was in great demand was used to serve the purpose of money. That means the commodities were used as a medium of exchange and as a medium of and as a measure of value. But owing to the various disadvantages that are associated with commodity money, the people at that time felt the necessity to have another form of money. So they introduced cattle money. So this time what happened? Various domesticated animals like cows, buffaloes, etc. were used to serve the purpose of money. But students, cattle money also was not free from the various shortcomings. There were various difficulties associated with cattle money as well. For example, the problem of storing the value, the problem of dividing the value, then the problem of making deferred payments. So all these problems were there in case of cattle money as well. So the people introduced another major form of money, that is metallic money. Metallic money means all the precious metals like gold and silver were used to serve the purpose of money. So students, initially they used raw metals as money, but later on with the growth of civilization, they started improvising this metallic money. They started giving symbols to these metallic monies, and after that they even improvised this metallic money in terms of their weight, size and color. So this gradually paved the way for the modern money that we are using at the present point of time. So students, this brings us to our today's topic of discussion, that is money. And today we shall be knowing about the meaning as well as the functions that money serves. So students, let's begin our today's class. The major learning objectives. So students, from today's class, we shall be able to understand how money was introduced, what led to the introduction of money. Also, we will be able to develop in ourselves the concept of money. That means we will be able to understand what money is. Not only that, students, we shall also be able to equip ourselves with the knowledge of the various functions that money serves. So these are the learning objectives of our today's class. So let us find out what money is. Money is what money does. So students, this sentence seems quite interesting, right? When I say money is what money does, it means that the functions of money itself indicates the meaning of money. In fact, the meaning of money is derived from its functions. Money is what it does. It means money is defined by the various functions that it serves. For example, money serves as a medium of exchange, as a store of value, measure of value, transfer of value and standard of deferred payments. So these are the functions that money serves. So students, these very functions defines what money actually is. So if I ask you what is money, you can simply say anything that serves as a medium of exchange, as a store of value, as a measure of value, as a transfer of value and as a standard of deferred payment is considered as money. So money serves all these functions and all these functions determines the meaning of money. So students, the first function of money is medium of exchange. We all know why money is used. The primary purpose of money is to help us in our various transactions. Money helps us to make various kinds of payments. It is used as an intermediary in the exchange of goods and services. You all might remember when we discussed about the double coincidence of want, we came to know that double coincidence of want is one major problem associated with the barter system. It means that both the parties involved in the transaction are required to agree to have the goods that the other party is offering. But when we have money, we do not have to worry about double coincidence of want. We can simply transact our good with someone and we will get money in return, and with that money we can buy anything that we want. So money overcomes the shortcoming of double coincidence of want by acting as an intermediary in the transaction process or in the exchange of goods and services. So the first important function of money is medium of exchange. Store of value. Students, the second important function of money is that it serves as a store of value. That means if we store money, do you think after 2 years, if I keep ₹100 rupee note in my bag, do you think that 100 rupee value will change after 1 year? That 100 rupee will remain 100 rupee only, right? It will not become 50 rupees or 10 rupees. So we can store value in the form of money for a long period of time because it will not undergo any change in its value. In fact, money always maintains its purchasing power. So what happens, what we can buy from ₹100 today, we will be able to have the same purchasing power even after some years. So students, what happens? Money is one convenient way of storing value. That is why people keep their money in the banks, right? So money is one of the easiest way of storing your value, of storing your wealth. When we have money, we don't have any reason to worry about. We can store it for a long period, even for 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, and so on. So money is an easy way of storing value. It can be saved, it can be taken out whenever we want, and it can be exchanged even at a future date. The third important function of money is measure of value. So money acts as a standard measure of value. While commodities were being used as money, or while cattle were being used as money, the people faced a lot of difficulty because all these things have different values. We cannot compare the value of an elephant with the value of a bread. We cannot compare the value of a cow with the value of 1 kg of wheat. So all these are quite different in terms of their values, right? So money overcomes this shortcoming as well, as it provides a standard or a uniform unit of measurement. Money is used to compare things. So money serves as a standard unit of measurement. By using money, we can compare the value of various goods and services. So the third function that money serves is measure of value. The fourth important function of money is it acts as a transfer of value. Well, students, money allows us to transfer our assets, to transfer our properties, our income, our wealth to another person. Since money is very compact, it can be easily carried from one place to another. So it also allows us, or it also enables us to transfer value from one place to another. Let me give you an example here. Just imagine a situation if we were still in the barter system and I am thinking of exchanging my property with someone in exchange for a car. So what will happen? I will give away my property to that person, and that person in return will give me his car. So I will bring the car to my place, but will he be able to take my property, or will he be able to take my house to his place? No, impossible. So this is what this function of money serves. This function of money basically allows the people to transfer their wealth, to transfer their assets, to transfer their properties to another person. This function of money has enabled the buying and selling of properties, which was otherwise very difficult when there was barter system. So money, since it is very compact, since it can be easily carried from one place to another, and since it acts as a intermediary in the exchange of goods and services, it also allows the transfer of value from one place to another. So the fourth important function of money is transfer of value. The fifth and the last important function of money is standard of deferred payment. So students, money serves this very important function of standard of deferred payment. It means that money can be used to repay a debt or a loan or a borrowing. Debt means a loan which we have taken. So students, if we have money, we can buy certain goods and services now for which we can make the payment at a future date. So this function of money simply means that money can be used to make payments at a future date. We can make the payment anytime in the future, because we all know that the value of money, it never comes down. So the same money can be used to make the payment even in the future as well. So standard of deferred payment simply means that money can be used to repay a debt even at a future date. So students, these are the various functions of money that we have discussed today. Before winding up the class, let us do a quick recap of what we have done in our today's class. So today we began the class by analyzing the learning objectives, and then we went on to understand what money is. We came to know the concept of money. Money is what money does. It serves as a medium of exchange, as a store of value, as a measure of value, as a transfer of value, and as a standard of deferred payment. So the meaning of money indicated the functions of money. So we also came to know about the various functions of money. That means how money serves as a medium of exchange. Money can be used to make various transactions by acting as an intermediary in the exchange of goods and services. The second important function of money is store of value. Money can be stored for a long period of time without any change in its value. The third important function of money is measure of value. So money can be used as a standard unit of measurement. It helps us to compare the value of different goods and services. The fourth important function of money is transfer of value. So money also allows people to transact their property, their assets or their wealth from one person to another. Since money can be easily carried from one person to another, so money enables the transfer of value from one person to another. And then the last function of money, that is standard of deferred payment. That means money also enables us to make a repayment of our debt at a future date. That means if we have money, we can buy the goods and services at the present point of time, and the payment can be made later on at a future date. So students, this is all about today's class. Today we came to know about the meaning as well as the functions that money serves. In case you have any doubt or difficulty, please let me know. I will surely help you. So students, on this note, let us end this video here. See you all in your next class. Thank you. Take care and stay safe.